So there are a lot of parts of the world where the effects of climate change are already being seen, and there are some parts of the United States, including Miami Beach. And joining me now, Republican Congressman Carlos Curbelo of Florida, who has seen those effects firsthand. And sir, you co-founded a bipartisan caucus on trying to come up with climate solutions. You tried to lobby the Trump administration to do the opposite of what we heard from President Trump today. What is your reaction to the announcement?
Jake, this is a strategic mistake and something that really sets us back. I don't know about the people of Pittsburgh, who I have great respect for, but people in South Florida live between the Everglades and the ocean. Most of us live near sea level and near the sea. We're already seeing the effects of saltwater intrusion into the Everglades, which threatens our drinking water supply. We're also seeing coastal properties under threat, real estate, billions and billions of dollars. So down here in South Florida, we understand that the environment and the economy are one and the same. And we also understand that pollution and CO2 emissions don't respect national and even continental boundaries. What happens in India, what happens in China has an impact on all of us. So I'm very disappointed that we've withdrawn, that we have left our seat at the table vacant, that we have yielded leadership to countries like China, like Russia. I really hope this administration reconsiders and adopts a responsible environmental climate policy that promotes American innovation, job growth in this country, the jobs of the future, the jobs that young people who are graduating from college need. So down here in South Florida, I know there's a lot of disappointment today as a result of this decision.
Why are so many Republicans, so many of your Republican colleagues, not on board with what you're talking about? Some of them seem to think that it's environment versus jobs. We heard that from the president today. Some of them seem to think that climate change is not a problem.
Jake, regrettably, this issue has been politicized. The polarization is out of control. I really think it dates back to when former Vice President Gore adopted this cause. Back then, a lot of Republicans just assumed that they must be against whatever Mr. Gore was discussing at the time. I don't blame him for having adopted the cause, but I really wish he would have done it with a fellow Republican. That is what we're trying to do in the Congress right now. My colleague from up the road here, Congressman Ted Deutsch, who's a Democrat, and myself, a Republican, we're building a caucus in the House of Representatives. We have 40 members already. 20 Republicans, 20 Democrats. That's the rule. You can only join if you come in with a member from the opposing party. And we're all making a statement that this issue matters to us, that we understand that our economy depends on a healthy environment, and that we're going to fight for sound, reasonable, pro-growth environmental policies in the Congress. If the administration doesn't want to lead on this issue, the Congress must, and we're trying to build an environment in the Congress that will allow for that.
22 Republican senators wrote a letter to President Trump asking for him to take a break, to withdraw from the Paris deal. They argued that staying in it puts the U.S. at risk for significant litigation if the U.S. does not meet certain goals. What is your response to that? A lot of Republicans making that argument that the withdrawal actually will help avert legal trouble for power companies and even for the U.S. government.
Jake, I'm not saying the Paris Agreement was perfect, but I think if we wanted to change it, if we wanted to update it, if we wanted stronger protections for our country, we should have stayed at the table. It's very difficult to modify an agreement, an organization from the outside. When you're on the inside, you can really work with your partners and make progress. And we've kind of seen that on NATO, where the president has put some pressure, not using the style that I would use, on some of our allies there, and some of those countries have agreed to invest more in their defense budgets. That's good, but it's really hard have an impact from the outside. And again, we've yielded leadership in this area to the Chinese, to the Russians, and to others, and we've also put our country on a list together with Bashar al-Assad's Syria, Daniel Ortega's Nicaragua. That's not the kind of list I want to be on.
Congressman Carlos Curbelo, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it, sir.